Part 64. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yun-Zhong Mu-Shuai. Chapter 631. Lu Yu said proudly. At this time, the less I can be cowardly. We must show our confidence. As expected, after hearing Lu Yu's words, the Chief Territory Lord fell silent. He could naturally see that this was indeed just a ray of consciousness. A ray of consciousness can suppress oneself so easily. If the real body comes. Damn it, how could such an existence exist in the current universe? Could it be that he is a self-styled person? It is also impossible, self-proclaimed people will not be involved in cause and effect. The expression of the Chief Territory Lord was changing, and Lu Yu didn't say anything, just waited quietly. Finally, the Chief Territory Lord spoke up. What do you want? What do I want? I want to know what you want. Lu Yu had no expression on his face. I just want to ask you why you sent so many geniuses to die, and why you still imprison Qingxiu when she comes back. I can't explain this to you. The Chief Territory Lord said coldly. Lu Yu frowned when he heard this. This Chief Territory Lord has a tougher attitude than he thought. My goal has been achieved, enough demonstrations. Logically speaking, it can be withdrawn now. But just leaving like this, Lu Yu felt that he was really sorry for the old man's brutal performance just now. No, I can't let the old man down. Even if you leave, you still have to gather a handful of wool. Lu Yu narrowed his eyes as he had a plan in his heart. It's okay to ignore these things, but not about me. If it weren't for my master, I would have almost died. What do you want to do? The Chief Territory Lord's eyes were slightly cold. Lu Yu smiled when he heard this. A small compensation is enough. After a moment of silence, the Chief Territory Lord nodded. Yes, but she must. Don't think about it, Qingxiu is mine now. Qingxiu blushed immediately. Seeing this, the Chief Territory Master narrowed his eyes and said nothing. Let's talk about your compensation. My compensation? That's easy. Just set a small target for the star core. 1 million tons of star crystal. Lu Yu spoke for 10 minutes in one breath. When he finished speaking, the Chief Territory Master's face turned green. Lu Yu, it's almost done, Daqiao couldn't help but said. Hearing this, Lu Yu also felt his mouth was a little dry and looked at the Chief Territory Lord. No problem. What you think? I think it's okay. Your request is too much. The Chief Territory Master looked ugly. Lu Yu sighed after hearing this. Okay, I'll reluctantly give you a discount, 99% off, okay. Are you looking for death? The Chief Territory Lord finally couldn't bear it any longer and roared angrily, causing the surrounding space to collapse. At this time, a voice came out. Who is bargaining here? Can't you sleep? A hand appeared from the token, and a big mouth slapped the Chief Territory Lord in the face. Chief Territory Lord. Chapter 0478. Dr. Bridge lasts for a long time, and the more treatment it takes, the longer it lasts. In the end, Lu Yu finally negotiated with the Chief Territory Lord. 50% of previous conditions. Lu Yu agreed. No more, and he might really be unable to bear it. After all, so many things were basically what I had said before. The purpose is to leave enough room for bargaining. Unexpectedly, the old man assisted. Lu Yu's mood could be described as quite comfortable. The Chief Territory Lord said nothing and was about to leave immediately. But Lu Yu stopped him. Master Chief Territory Lord, you haven't told me yet, what are your motives? What Lu Yu was referring to was naturally why they wanted to trap and kill so many geniuses. Regarding this, the Chief Territory Lord could only say coldly, no matter how impatient he was. These are not things you have access to. Hey. I don't like what you say. If we don't make it clear today, none of us will leave. Lu Yu roared at the top of his lungs. Chief Territory Lord. He took a deep look at the token hanging on Lu Yu's waist and said expressionlessly. The descendants of some weird beings are about to be born, and we need to select a few geniuses who can compete with them. Is it that simple? These words made Lu Yu hesitate a little. What is the strange existence you are talking about? What you think? A sneer appeared on the face of the Chief Territory Lord. Lu Yu's heart suddenly sank. Don't tell me, is it the existence of those things outside the Great Wall? Why were they born? I think you already know a lot of things. No matter how much you ask me, it's better to ask your master. After saying this, the Chief Territory Lord left directly. Lu Yu frowned. These words have a profound meaning. Ahashireku looked curious. Lu Yu, what did the Chief Territory Lord say? Nothing. Lu Yu shook his head. He noticed that Qingxiu's expression was a little moved. Obviously, she might have guessed something. The descendants who exist outside the Great Wall are about to be born. Does this indicate that the so-called final battle is really coming soon? Lu Yu's heart was constantly changing. Lu Yu, what should we do now? Should we settle the score with the General Town Envoy, or with Yu? Daqiao stopped worrying so much in Leiju, and instead looked at Lu Yu. That chief envoy is too irritating, let's ask Grandpa to teach him a lesson. After hearing this, Lu Yu admitted that he was quite moved. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 632. But the problem is, the person in my token will usually save me when I'm in danger. But if I take the initiative to cause trouble, he may not save me. Let's go back to your place and wait for a while. Lu Yu said so. It doesn't matter whether I teach the General Town Envoy a lesson or not, after all, I have to be steady. I can't do whatever I want just because the old man is by my side. After all, this is just a token, it's okay to show my experience. But if I take it out and swing it every day, what if the token I copied doesn't work one day? It will be really troublesome. In the end, I still have to rely on myself. The three of them returned to the Yunyu clan. In the magnificent living room, Lu Yu glanced at it and his eyelids twitched wildly. This is too luxurious. Myself, Daqiao Leiju, Qingxiu. 3 people, each with 2 maids, 1 massages below and 1 massages above. It can be said that the service is clear. Daqiao Leiju squinted his eyes comfortably. How about it, Lu Yu? I will enjoy it, right? I will enjoy it quite a bit. Lu Yu nodded. Daqiao Leiju laughed when he heard this. Then do you want to give me some of the compensation given by the General Territory Lord? After all, I also have a contribution. Is your contribution to cheer on the side? Lu Yu curled his lips and looked at Qingxiu. Master Qingxiu, what are you going to do? I don't know. Qingxiu shook her head. Now she is no longer under the command of the General Territory Lord, and she doesn't know where to go. Master Qingxiu, don't you have a tribe? Lu Yu asked again. No. That's easy, you can come to my home planet and try. Lu Yu spoke immediately. Qingxiu heard this, pondered for a second or two, and nodded. Okay. She agreed, and didn't refuse. On the one hand, she really had nowhere to go now. On the other hand, she was really curious about Lu Yu. What was behind Lu Yu? His master could easily suppress the General Territory Lord with a consciousness. This is simply unimaginable. It's too surprising. Okay, I'll take you there when the time comes. Lu Yu said, and stood up. Leiju, do you have any place to practice here? What are you doing? Practice. Okay, let's practice together. How great it is to practice together. Bang. Lu Yu kicked Dakiao Leiju away. Lu Yu, you. Arrange a place, Lu Yu said lightly. Dakiao Leiju had to arrange a practice room for Lu Yu with a look of grievance. Everything is complete, do you think it's okay? Lu Yu looked around. Not bad, it's really okay. But. Lu Yu walked into the bathroom, took a look at the several cameras placed there, and fell into deep thought. You installed surveillance in the bathroom, are you afraid that Lao Ba will come to steal things? I don't know about this, I really don't want to spy on you, Lu Yu. Dakiao Leiju shook his head immediately. But those eyes couldn't help looking up and down at Lu Yu. Lu Yu. Okay, I believe it for now. Before Lu Yu finished speaking, the mirror next to him spoke. Little princess, are you there? Can you hear me? I installed the camera in the mirror, the toilet bucket, the fluorescent lamp, inside. Lu Yu. Dakiao Leiju. How else do you want to explain? Lu Yu smashed the mirror and took out the camera inside. Dakiao Leiju's originally aggrieved expression instantly became frank. Actually, Lu Yu, I won't lie to you. I am an expert in men's health. I think your length is very abnormal. It may be a disease. Please cooperate with me to treat it. I'm afraid that you will get longer and longer. As he said, Lu Yu kicked Dakiao Leiju away. After confirming that there was no surveillance again and again, Lu Yu felt relieved. Okay, during the time I am practicing, please pay attention to the situation at the Great Wall for me. If there is any news about Yu, tell me immediately. Lu Yu said to Dakiao Leiju, who was sticking his butt out of the door, and then with a bang, the door was closed. Ahashi Leiju gritted his teeth. I will never give up. She left after saying that. Time passed by, and in a blink of an eye, more than half a month had passed. During this period, Lu Yu had never left the practice room. His realm was also rising steadily. The massive amount of resources provided made Lu Yu not worry about the problem of insufficient star source power at all. This also made Lu Yu's horror seen by the entire Yunyu clan. Oh! The little princess's friend is so scary when practicing. What are you talking about? The little princess said that it was her boyfriend. Does boyfriend understand? Oh, the little princess boyfriend is so scary when practicing. Is this a genius? It's really not simple. The entire Yunyu clan was surprised. It was indeed because Lu Yu's practice was too shocking. Even if the star level felt that kind of pressure, they couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts, and felt that they were unmatched. You know, Lu Yu's realm is only the initial stage of the Star Master. More than half a month passed, and on this day, the door was knocked. Lu Yu seems to have come out. Chapter 0479 Yu appears, our destiny. Yu comes out. The moment he heard this, Lu Yu opened his eyes. The aura of his whole body instantly restrained. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Shui. Chapter 633. Everything around him returned to calm, he stood up and opened the door. Lu Yu, why are you wearing clothes? Ahashi Reiko looked confused. Lu Yu. Should I not wear any clothes? Isn't it normal that your practice fluctuates so horribly and your clothes are torn? What a pity. Saying that, Ahashi Reiko sighed and dropped the underwear in his hand. There are clearly several words on it. Men's Premium XX underwear. Lu Yu. Stop talking about this, you said before that Yu is back, right? Well, Yu came out from the Great Wall. Now there seems to be rumors that that guy has entered the intermediate level of Star Master. So fast. Lu Yu was surprised and a little surprised. I am only at the beginning level of Star Master now. After practicing for more than half a month, I have almost touched the threshold of the intermediate level. But what I didn't expect was that this guy Squid was already at the intermediate level. This inheritance is a bit complicated. Lu Yu thought. Ahashireku asked. Lu Yu, shall we go find him now? Lu Yu nodded. Now I want to ask him about the zeroing association. The words of the Chief Territory Lord last time made him feel more and more dangerous. A descendant of a strange being is about to be born. No need to think about it. That kind of descendant will definitely not be an ordinary existence. It is very likely that he is a direct bloodline of a certain giant behind the scenes. This is a little more troublesome. What makes Lu Yu feel a little interesting is Yu Yu seems to have become the target of 20 superstar clusters to jointly cultivate. Thousands of people died to achieve success for just one person. Thinking about it this way, it seems quite loyal that the guy got one of the 2 previous places. It's a pity that Dakiao Leiju made it out alive, but I'm afraid he wasn't taken seriously. Yu Yu accepted the inheritance alone. Thinking about everything in his heart, Lu Yu had already gone out with Dakiao Leiju. Qingxiu has been waiting for a long time. Are we going to the Great Wall to find Yu Yu now, or somewhere? Qingxiu asked. If you go to the Great Wall, it will definitely be very far. In response, Lu Yu shook his head. No, we'll wait here. Wait here? Ahashireku and Chiyuki's eyes were confused. But a jade tablet appeared in Lu Yu's hand. Yu Yu gave this to himself when he first entered the Great Wall. As long as it is crushed, it can be sensed no matter how far away it is. At first Yu Yu was like this because there was no interstellar network in the Great Wall. Now it seems that it just comes in handy. Without any hesitation, Lu Yu crushed the jade token and sent a message. Feng Chu, Yunyu clan, come quickly. The message was very brief, but Lu Yu believed that Yu Yu would definitely understand. Otherwise, don't sleep with yourself. While Lu Yu was waiting here, he was hundreds of millions of light years away. The Great Wall, in a certain grand hall. 20 terrifying figures appeared here at the same time. Everyone's body exudes extreme fluctuations. Just the restrained breath makes the surrounding void chaotic. The Chief Territory Lord is also among them. Lai Tian, you seem to be injured, a figure next to the Chief Territory Lord asked. In response, the Chief Territory Lord shook his head. It's nothing, it's caused by seclusion. He didn't want to say too much, it would be too embarrassing to reveal it. In this regard, the figure next to him did not ask any more questions. At this moment, the chief envoy appeared at the entrance of the hall. Next to him, there was another person. Yu Yu. At this moment, Yu Yu seemed to have not changed much from before except for his realm. But if you look carefully, it's not difficult to spot. There was fire burning deep in his eyes. Wisp after wisp forms the entire pupil, which is very magical. It was at this time that a person appeared in front of all the general domain lords. Have you accepted all the inheritance? You're still a little short of it, sir. I believe you will have the opportunity to set foot in the Forbidden Realm, the chief envoy replied with a smile. These words made the 20 figures behind him sigh in relief. But at this moment, Yu spoke. Dear adults, I feel that you are too confident. It is not so easy to enter the Forbidden Realm. Please don't play me to death. Yu's words made the chief envoy's smile freeze on his face. So does everyone else. Only the man at the front looked at Yu and spoke lightly. This is your fate, your own choice. You cannot enter the Forbidden Realm. What qualifications do you have to fight against the descendants of those who exist? Hey, I don't like hearing this. I can't fight in the first place. The ending is already written, so why bother? That's enough. Don't bring your 0-0 association stuff here. the man said coldly, and Yu instantly spit out a mouthful of blood. He flipped his hair, looking unconcerned. It's okay, you can mess with it as you like. When you finish messing with it, you will naturally know. After saying that, Yu stopped making any sound. The chief envoy took him out in a panic. Are you looking for death, outside? The chief town envoy said angrily. Yu spread his hands. What I'm telling you is the truth. Lord Commander-in-Chief, you don't really think that we might enter a forbidden realm, do you? A realm that doesn't exist at all. Yu's words silenced the chief envoy. He said nothing more and shook his head. No matter what, we have to make a final struggle. This is our fate. Let it be. There is still a part of your inheritance that has not been completed. You can leave during this period, but you must come back in 3 days. Okay, don't worry, I will definitely come back. Yu left with a smile. There was a fierce quarrel in the palace. Looking at Yu's chic back, the chief town city envoy was very puzzled. Is there really no hope for this universe? Yu sighed. After leaving the palace, he rushed to the 14th city in a carefree manner. But before he arrived, a jade tablet in his arm suddenly broke. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Shui. Chapter 634. Feng Chu, Yunya clan, come quickly. Looking at this information, Yu was stunned for a moment. Dig. Feng Xiao is indeed not dead. Yu jumped excitedly. Without any hesitation, he headed outside the Great Wall. Chapter 0480 Mr. Ahashi's new film, The Elder of the Guiling Association. Yunya clan. Under the enthusiastic guidance of Dichiao Leiju, Lu Yu enthusiastically visited the entire Yunya clan. It just makes his face darken. Everyone who sees him calls him Prince Consort. Hello, Prince Consort. The Prince Consort is so handsome. The Prince Consort is so awesome. Ahashi Reiko stood next to Lu Yu, smiling happily. Lu Yu. What have you been doing while I'm in seclusion? I didn't do anything. Ahashi Reiko looked confused. Lu Yu. Then why do they call me Prince Consort? Maybe it's because we look like husband and wife. Ahashi Reiko nodded in recognition. Qingxia couldn't help but covered her mouth and started laughing. Lu Yu sighed. At this time, the bridge soon arrived. Long time no see, Lu Yu. Daikiao Waju smiled at Lu Yu. Lu Yu was excited at that time. Teacher Ahashi, have you finished filming the new movie? That's right. Ahashi lifted a strand of hair and smiled. Lu Yu probed, what role did you play this time? The character is a teacher. You're dead, Lu Yu nodded immediately. When will it be released? Can I see a sample? Ah, that may not work. We have to wait until it is officially released. I see, then I'll wait. Lu Yu had a satisfied smile on his face. Ahashi Reiko watched dazedly from the side. Even Qingxia was a little unbelievable. Why does Lu Yu look so familiar to Ahashi Reiko's sister? I ignored Ahashi Reiko and Qian Yuki. Lu Yu and Dichiao soon started chatting more and more animatedly. He sighed an hour later. I can't believe it, I really can't believe it. Being so far away in time and space, I can still be lucky enough to meet my teacher. It's really a great blessing in life. Yeah, I'm very happy to have a fan like you, Lu Yu. Ahashi smiled for a while. Ahashi Reiko. She didn't want to talk at all. I really don't want to talk anymore. At this moment, a guard ran over. Little princess, there is a very strange genius who wants to visit. What's your name? Ahashi Reiko was confused. Squid, Squid. The guard had a puzzled expression on his face. Lu Yu was happy when he heard this. Let him in quickly. Yeah, listen to the prince consort and let him in. Okay, I understand, Prince Consort. The guard disappeared again. Dakiao Leiju took advantage of the situation and took Lu Yu's arm. Sister, to tell you the truth, Lu Yu and I have. Snap. The bridge has been flying for a long time. Reikyu, please don't come between me and Ahashi-sensei. Ahashi Reiku, I. Sister. Dakiao Leiju looked at Dakiao Waju with a resentful look. Ahashi soon smiled happily. Well done. She has been acting like a spoiled child in the clan for a long time. Someone really needs to take care of her. Ahashi Reiku. I have no love. At this moment, a head of colorful hair broke in. Feng Chu. My good brother. The moment Yu Yu saw Lu Yu, he was extremely excited. Come up and give Lu Yu a bear hug. Lu Yu dodged away without leaving any trace, leaving Yu Yu on the ground chewing mud. Puff. Yu Yu spit out the sand, lay on the ground, and looked at Lu Yu happily. Lu Yu, you have indeed turned into a ghost. I can't even hold you. It's so happy to think about it. They are really good brothers. Even if they turn into ghosts, they will find me first. Yu Yu was very excited. Lu Yu gave him a kick directly. Speak nicely. Just talk nicely, Lu Yu, when did you come out? Yu Yu dusted himself off and stood up. Lu Yu said, 2 days ago. Awesome, I really didn't expect you to come out. It's really not easy. Yu Yu obviously had something to say. Lu Yu narrowed his eyes and looked at him. Let's go, I have something to ask you alone. With that said, Lu Yu was about to take Yu Yu away. Ahashi Reiku frowned. Are you two going to be fencing alone together? Fencing is good. Only fencing, during collision and friction, can the sword be faster and sharper, Yu Yu said with a deep look on his face. Ahashi Reiku. She always felt that these words sounded familiar. Lu Yu took Yu Yu to an empty room. Looking at Yu Yu who was taking off his pants, Lu Yu raised his eyebrows. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yun Zhonmu Shui. Chapter 635. What are you doing? Fencing. Snap. Yu Yu flew. Damn, what do you want to do if you don't fence? Yu Yu fell off the wall. Lu Yu looked at him and curled his lips. I just want to ask you, do you know what the other side of the Great Wall is in your Zero Association? Why, are you interested? Yu Yu put on the belt. Lu Yu nodded. A little bit. No problem. Join our Zero Association, and you will never be disappointed. Yu Yu was immediately excited. Feng Chu, if you join our Zero Association, we will be the combination of Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chu. Simply invincible. Yu Yu's words made Lu Yu narrow his eyes. After confirming it so many times, what he can be sure of now is the Zero Association is indeed not a terrorist or cult organization. It's just that there are some differences in ideology from the mainstream. Joining it will not cause any harm to himself. It's just. Lu Yu really finds it hard to agree with their philosophy. Not joining. Why are you looking for me if you don't want to join? So do you still want to fencing? Yu Yu started to untie his belt again. Lu Yu looked at him and kicked him again. Speak nicely. Okay, Yu Yu spread his hands. I'll tell you, it's not impossible for you to know, but you must agree to a request from our Zero Association. What request? Lu Yu frowned. Yu Yu smiled. I can't tell you this for the time being, but don't worry, this request is not mandatory, it's almost like asking you to do a favor. Let me help? Lu Yu frowned. As a Star Master, what can I do for such a big organization like yours? Seeing Lu Yu's doubts, Yu Yu shrugged. I can't say more, it depends on your consideration. After a silence of more than 10 seconds, Lu Yu nodded. Okay. It's not mandatory, so it's okay to agree. Within the scope of ability, Lu Yu has no reason to refuse a favor. That's alright. Let's go, Lu Yu. I'll take you to meet the elders of our association. Where is he? It's not far away, Yu Yu said. Lu Yu paused for a moment, without thinking too much. There was no reason for Yu Yu to lie to him. If he really wanted to hurt him, he would have done it long ago. Besides, isn't the old man still following him? Follow Yu Yu out of the Yunyu clan's territory. Yu Yu stopped on a mountain on Yunmen Star. Okay, Mr. Shi, you can come out now. As the voice fell, an old man slowly walked out of the void. Finally I see him in person. Chapter 0481 A Corner of the Truth, The Real Despair. The moment the old man appeared, Lu Yu's eyes narrowed. He had been following him for so long, but he didn't notice anything. Lu Yu, let me introduce you to Mr. Shi, one of the 9 elders of our Zero Association, who is dedicated to protecting my safety. Yu Yu said enthusiastically. Lu Yu nodded when he heard it. Hello, my name is Lu Yu. The young man is indeed extraordinary, he can make the chief domain master retreat. Old Shi smiled. This made Lu Yu's face change slightly. How did he know? Shouldn't that matter be kept secret? Sure enough, the Zero Association is an extraordinary organization. Lu Yu forced himself to calm down. This is all the credit of my master, it has nothing to do with me. Too modest. Old Shi laughed. Beside him, Yu Yu was surprised. Good guy, Lu Yu, you also became a disciple. Lu Yu. Okay, Old Shi, you also heard it beside you before, Lu Yu wants to know what is on the other side of the Great Wall. It's okay to reveal this, but young man, are you sure you agree to our conditions? No problem. Lu Yu nodded. The same thing. As long as it is not mandatory, I can still afford to owe a favor to someone. Hearing Lu Yu's words, Old Shi laughed even happier. Yes, in fact, it would be best if you could join. Some truths can extinguish the last flame in your heart. But it doesn't matter. The whole news should make you clear what kind of existence we are facing. As he said, Elder Shi took out a silver box. It contains a space foil. Its edge is very sharp, but it can carry some information from several eras to the present. Elder Shi handed the silver box to Lu Yu. Take it, Yu Yu, let's go back first. I have something else to tell you. Okay, Lu Yu, I'll go back first. After you finish reading these things, remember not to leak them. After speaking, Yu Yu waved his hand and left first. In the forest, only Lu Yu was left. It was quiet all around, with only the sound of insects and birds. In the sky, a white cloud floated by. Lu Yu held the silver box and felt his breathing slightly quickened. Opening the silver box, Lu Yu saw a thin sheet lying quietly in it. Space foil. A concept that Lu Yu had never heard of. If he hadn't looked carefully, he would have even ignored its existence, almost blending in with the black base below. Carefully picking up the space foil, Lu Yu placed it in the sun. It was still transparent, with only the corners reflecting some tiny brilliance. Now, the truth of a corner of the universe was about to be revealed to me. A ray of star power was poured into the space foil. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Shui. Chapter 636. The next moment, suddenly, countless images exploded in Lu Yu's mind. Half an hour later, Lu Yu's distracted eyes gradually regained their energy. He looked at the disappearing space foil and froze on the spot. After a while, he uttered a sentence. Gan. I'm sorry. Play with me. I also want to lie down. I quit. Cursing, Lu Yu returned towards the original path. Halfway through, he saw Yu Yu. Good guy, it's a big blow. Don't you have anything to say? Say NM. It's not you, don't curse. Swear NM. Hey Lu Yu, calm down. Cold NM. Lu Yu didn't want to say anything, he just wanted to go back to Blue Star now. What strange things exist beyond the Great Wall for future generations? What heaven, what the existence and death of the universe? He didn't even want to care anymore. Seeing Lu Yu like this, Yu Yu grabbed his hand. Lu Yu, calm down. Can't calm down. Lu Yu looked at Yu Yu calmly. Yu Yu spread his hands. So, this is the meaning of our Zero Association's existence. Come join us. Lu Yu was silent again, and after a moment, he spoke. I want to live a few more days, so I say goodbye. With that said, Lu Yu returned to the Yunya clan. Lu Yu, my sister, and I have discussed it and I will give you a cosplay tonight. Ahashi Reiko struck a sexy and charming pose. Lu Yu didn't even look at her and walked directly out the door. Hey, no, Lu Yu, what are you doing? The bridge has been coming for a long time. My clothes are ready, why do you want to leave? Lu Yu, where are you going? Qingxiu also looked confused. Lu Yu had no expression on his face and looked at the two girls. Be busy going home. If you believe me, you can eat whatever you want during the next period of time. With that said, Lu Yu was leaving again. Ahashi Leiju directly hugged Lu Yu's waist. No, Lu Yu, what's wrong with you, why are you so angry? Ahashi Leiju looked at Lu Yu with a grieved expression. Qingxiu also looked stunned. What happened to Lu Yu? He suddenly became like this? Yu Yu appeared at this time, leaning against the door and shaking his hair. Let him calm down. No, you two just went shooting field artillery behind my back. Ahashi's eyes widened for a moment. Lu Yu. He waved his hand and left. Ahashi Reiku instantly turned his angry gaze to Yu Yu. What exactly did you do to Lu Yu? Nothing done. You're a liar. You must have done something. Well, I only did a little bit. Yu Yu smiled, showing his white teeth. Ahashi Reiku was furious when he heard this. You deserve to die. After saying that, she hurried to chase Lu Yu again. Lu Yu, do you hate me so much? Ahashi Leiju said with red eyes. Did you just leave because you disliked me? If so, just nod. Lu Yu nodded many times. Ahashi Reiku. I don't live anymore. Lu Yu, if you really leave, I will commit suicide right now, right now. Ahashi Reiku held a knife to his chest. Lu Yu glanced at it and shook his head. The fat in the chest is too thick and the knife is too short to kill. Ahashi Reiku. Go away. If you leave, don't come back. Ahashi Reiku was completely annoyed and left without looking back. Lu Yu was very silent when he saw this scene. Qingxiu appeared at some point. Lu Yu, what's wrong with you? Qingxiu's eyes were very confused. She could tell that Lu Yu wasn't injured either. Hearing this, Lu Yu glanced at Jian Shui. Lord Qingxiu, I somewhat understand what you meant. Qingxiu was quiet for a moment and sighed. Is what you see the real truth? Yes. Well, what I saw is only part of it. You have seen the real despair, so I won't leave you alone. With that said, Qingxiu himself left. Lu Yu shook his head and boarded the warship. His thoughts now are very simple. Back to Blue Star. Stay with Xiaoling, stay with Lan Zioxi. I don't think about anything else. Just as Lu Yu was starting the warship, a voice sounded. You brat, you really don't want to think about struggling again. Chapter 0482 You will die sooner or later, the light of this genius. Struggle a little more? Lu Yu smiled bitterly. Old man, that sounds easy, why are you struggling? That's right, how to struggle. The figure of the old man appeared. He stroked his beard and looked at the starry sky outside. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 637. Why struggle? I can't struggle anymore. I was full of passion back then, but in the end, half of my body is almost buried in the ground. Those old friends who struggled back then don't even have graves now. Yes, so I just want to go back and lie down and not move. Lu Yu smiled. But the old man gave him a chestnut. Stop talking. I get angry when you say that. I thought you were optimistic, so I wanted to help you. Maybe there's a chance. Now it seems that I thought too much. The old man sighed. Lu Yu rubbed his head, smacked his lips, and looked at the starry sky. Everything is set, how can you struggle? No matter how hard you struggle, you're still on someone else's chessboard. What if I tell you that someone has already jumped out? The old man suddenly looked at Lu Yu. Lu Yu looked slightly puzzled. What do you mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's just that someone jumped out. The answer is in the relics of the moon goddess heaven, said the old man. Lu Yu was silent for a moment and shook his head after hearing this. I feel it's still a dead end. Indeed, unless the chessboard can be overturned. The rules are made by others. Rules are meant to be broken. Lu Yu. He didn't say anything. The old man laughed. I'm just saying it for fun. If you want to lie down, just lie down. If you really can't, come to me. Maybe you can witness the birth of a new world. After saying this, the old man disappeared again, and at the end, he left a sigh. This damn world is getting more and more hopeless. Listening to the echo of this, Lu Yu stood there for a long time, and finally set off for Blue Star. No need. It's meaningless. The ending has already been written. Trying to change will only make you die faster. Instead of struggling, why not obey? The warship sped, and Lu Yu looked at the starry sky. The starry sky that used to be bright was now so dark in Lu Yu's eyes. A pair of eyes was watching everything in the world. From the movement of atoms to the movement of celestial bodies. Everything, cannot escape control. How to fight? Only death. Since this fate cannot be changed, then there is dignity and choice, let yourself die. This is probably the true purpose of the Zero Association. Sad. Leaning against the corner of the ship, Lu Yu looked at the starry sky in a trance, trying to look into those eyes. But there was nothing. He didn't know if he was qualified to be watched. After an unknown amount of time, the warship docked. A blue planet filled Lu Yu's vision. The blue planet is radiating vitality. Without the constraints of star beasts, the original large desert is being reclaimed. New cities are rising from the ground, and green is spreading. Even in space, there are many spaceships shuttling. A military warship approached the ancient ship carefully. When they saw Lu Yu on the ship, they were all surprised. It's Lu Shen. Lu Shen is back from the outer space again. Where is Lu Shen? Let me see. Looking at the excited faces of more than a dozen people, Lu Yu forced a smile, greeted them, and disappeared on the warship. At the gate of the first martial arts school. The moment Lu Yu appeared, everyone was stunned. Oh my god, Lu Shen. Ah, I thought Lu Shen was gone. Hug Lu Shen. A large group of girls reacted first. Next, there were the male compatriots who were in great pain. Why is he back again? Oh my god, I thought he had a girlfriend after he left. Everything around him was taken in by Lu Yu. For some reason, his mood, which was originally as stagnant as water, fluctuated again. It's good to be back. Lu Yu smiled, greeted them, and walked into the first martial arts school. Small villa. When Lu Yu came in, Xiao Ling was not there, and neither was Xiao 11. They should have gone to class together. Lu Yu guessed and went up to his bedroom on the second floor. Lying on the bed, Lu Yu's eyes were scattered on the ceiling. But soon, he noticed something. A small spider was lying on the ceiling, working hard to weave a spider web. The spider web was almost done, and a gecko appeared next to it and got into the spider web. After crawling around casually, the spider web fell apart. The spider tried to attack the gecko, but the gecko's scales were not pierced by its fangs. So, it had to start weaving the spider web again. Time passed. A new spider web soon appeared again, and this time it was much thicker than the previous one. This time, the gecko came again. Although the new spider web was much better than the old one, it was still easily destroyed. The spider had no choice but to build the spider web again. This went on and on until the 8th time, the spider web was still torn by the gecko. Lu Yu looked at the scene and shook his head. Useless work. The two are not even on the same level. Just when Lu Yu was about to close his eyes to rest, he saw from the corner of his eye that the spider was still weaving a spider web. This spider web was much slower than the previous one. Lu Yu could see that the material was sufficient. Can it work? He decided to take another look. Time passed, and an hour passed. The last part of the spider web was also completed. The gecko arrived as promised, rushing into the spider web to wreak havoc. But this time, its movements became difficult. The seemingly thin spider web tightly bound it. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 638. The gecko tried to struggle out, but the spider jumped on it, its fangs exposed, and bit its eyes. After a few minutes, the gecko stopped struggling. The spider began to spin its web. When Lu Yu saw this scene, his eyes were slightly dull. Success. Did the previous 8 failures finally lead to a success? Lu Yu was silent. Very similar. I can only say that they are really similar. But is this really worth it? Having sacrificed so much. Brother. I heard you are back. Downstairs, the door opened, followed by thumping footsteps. Brother. You are indeed back. Lu Ling's eyes were full of surprise and she threw herself into Lu Yu's arms. This time you finally didn't break the contract. Well, there's no breach of contract. Lu Yu rubbed Lu Ling's head and smelled the fragrance of the girl's hair, feeling complicated. I seem like I can't protect Xiao Ling? Xiao Ling, what if you die? Lu Yu said suddenly. Lu Ling, who was acting coquettishly, looked puzzled. Brother, why are you asking this? We will all die sooner or later. Sooner or later. Lu Yu was stunned when he heard this, and then laughed. It makes sense, it's just a matter of time. Yes, it's just sooner or later, so do more meaningful things, meet the people you want to see, and go to the places you want to go. Lu Ling smiled happily. Lu Yu's mood suddenly brightened. Yes. Sooner or later you will die. Why not do something that no one dares to do? Give up? No, I can't admit defeat. The first 8 times, I didn't admit defeat. For the 9th time, can you lose here? The chessboard is meant to be overturned. Rules are meant to be broken. The light of this genius is not only meant to shine on this universe and to illuminate your new world. Chapter 0483 The Best Orthopedic Hospital, Taboo Area. Shine your new world. At this moment, Lu Yu's eyes became extremely excited. Xiao Ling, I am so cute to you. Lu Yu happily kissed Lu Ling on the side of his face. Lu Ling was stunned for a moment, then reacted. Brother, you actually kissed me. What, No. Okay. I'll contact the best orthopedic hospital in Blue Star for you right now. Lu Ling was very happy. Lu Yu. My originally cheerful mood seems to have turned gloomy again. After chatting with Lu Ling for a long time, Lu Yu drove her away after giving her a lot of training resources. Go to evening classes quickly. Oh, by the way, when will you go to Orion College? Ah. It looks like it's been a week. What's wrong? It's nothing. Your brother will take you there personally when the time comes. Lu Yu. I love you so much. Lu Ling jumped up and hugged Lu Yu again, and kissed him. Looking at the girl who reluctantly left, Lu Yu felt that the sunshine outside the window was getting brighter. Lu Yu, you are not just yourself, you also have your sister. I have to fight hard for Xiaoling. Lu Yu cheered himself up in his heart. At this moment, the old man suddenly appeared. Young people, your mentality changes so quickly. Thanks to old man for your enlightenment before. Lu Yu smiled. The old man laughed when he heard this. That's good. I just like how you young people are full of energy. It's not good if old guys like us are lifeless. So, have you thought about what you are going to do? This is exactly the question I want to ask you, how to change it. Didn't I tell you the answer? There is a way to break the situation in the relics of the moon god's heavenly palace, although the chance is very small. The old man smiled. After Lu Yu heard this, he thought for a while. Old man, I want to ask you one more thing. I heard them say that the descendants of those beings outside the Great Wall are coming. Oh, I'm just sent here to explore your secrets. I want to spread the real despair by the way. These are all taboos for young people. What, do you have any ideas? The old man looked puzzled. Lu Yu smiled bitterly and spread his hands. If I don't have any ideas and let them do whatever they want, I'm afraid the speed of this universe's destruction will be accelerated. Well, open the box then, I'm going to bed. After saying this, the old man disappeared. After a moment of silence, the ancient box from the moon god's heaven appeared in Lu Yu's hand. There are already cracks all over the box. But Lu Yu knew that the old man would not lie to him. Inside, there is a big secret. After thinking for a moment, Lu Yu opened the ancient box. Just the moment it was opened, divine light illuminated everything. Invisible fluctuations distorted the surrounding space. Lu Yu seemed to be in another world. It's on top of the Great Wall. Lu Yu looked at the familiar scene with surprise in his eyes. What surprised him even more was that two figures appeared in front of him at some point, both with their backs to him. A man and a woman, their figures blurred. After you leave, with the strength of the moon god heavenly court, it may be difficult to call it the ninth heavenly court. The moon god heavenly court does not have to really exist. The real ninth heavenly court must be established in the next era. There is no rush. The next era? Fuxi, is there another era? Ha ha ha, moon god, you are worrying too much. It will happen. Someone is already on the way. Who? Not sure. He is not from this universe, not in ancient history, and not restricted by them. He may be the one who breaks the situation. Then what will you do? You have already stepped into that realm. Maybe you have the strength to compete with them. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS level talents at the beginning. Author, Yun Zhong Mu Shui. Chapter 639. No, Moon God, the real enemy is not them. They are just puppets like us. Where are you going? I can't say it. They are watching us. I will return in a way that you can't imagine. Okay, do I need to leave something for the ninth heaven? Just keep it in your heart. You don't need to say it. Got it, Fuxi, I look forward to your return. The scroll broke here. At the same time, the light in front of Lu Yu disappeared. The surrounding space was still distorted, as if isolating something. Lu Yu's eyes were a little dazed. The way to break the situation. Is this the way to break the situation? Is he the one who breaks the situation? Lu Yu looked at his palm and was a little unbelievable. The man's words were still echoing in his heart. Not belonging to this universe, not in ancient history, not subject to their constraints. This is the way to break the situation. Lu Yu was very happy. Yes. I am a time traveler. I am not a creature of this universe at all. Their so-called constraints are nothing to me. Even, they can't find me. Otherwise, I would never have lived to this day. I myself, is a loophole. Lu Yu's heart was filled with surprise. He looked up at the sky. The eyes that were everywhere disappeared at this moment. In excitement, Lu Yu looked at the ancient bronze box. Inside, there was a bottle of golden blood. The light was extremely bright. It was obviously just a small bottle of blood, but it brought Lu Yu the same pressure as the old man was right in front of him. The most amazing thing was, in this golden blood, there was thunder. Look closely. Every drop of blood seemed to be a big world. Inside, all things evolve, and the world revolves. That person's blood. Lu Yu can be sure. There is a breath of the same origin. But what puzzled Lu Yu was, he did not belong to this universe, but why did he have that person's blood? This made him puzzled. But Lu Yu didn't think too much. He took the golden blood, hesitated for a moment, and then drank a small drop carefully. The golden blood was refined in an instant. Boom! It was as if a universe exploded in Lu Yu's body. Lu Yu instantly spat out a mouthful of blood. The originally bright red blood in his body changed instantly. It turned into golden blood. Dazzling. Countless cells seemed to fission at this moment. The heart beat vigorously, and every sound was like thunder. If it weren't for the space isolating everything, Lu Yu had reason to believe the entire blue planet would probably be shaken by this. And the mutation continued. In addition to the increasingly powerful beating of the divine heart, Lu Yu could feel that his eyes were becoming sharper. Everything seemed to be dissected. Everything around him was in his eyes. The atoms were moving and rubbing at an extremely slow speed. Through the wall, you can clearly see a planet several light years away. A foraging beast looked up and looked at him. Not only the eyes and heart, but other parts of the body seemed to have been raised to the extreme at this moment. Lu Yu could feel that he seemed to be almost omnipotent at this moment. Congratulations to the host for entering the middle level of Star-Lord. Congratulations to the host for entering the late level of Star-Lord. Congratulations to the host for entering the final level of Star-Lord. The system voice kept ringing until the last one. Congratulations to the host for entering the Forbidden Realm. Chapter 0484 Rotten Big Hand, the so-called Taboo. Taboo Realm. At the moment when the system voice sounded like this, Lu Yu only felt that everything around him was empty. He had a very strange feeling. He seemed to be no longer at the level of Star-Lord, but still at the Star-Lord level. In his perception of power, Star-Lord, already as fragile as a piece of paper. Even the star-level strongmen are no more than this. This surprised Lu Yu a little. What realm is this? After the final level of Star-Lord, isn't it directly promoted to the star level? Just as Lu Yu was hesitating, a terrible pressure appeared. Beside Lu Yu, the void was torn apart. A rotten big hand poked out from inside. Interesting, another creature dares to step into the forbidden area, huh? As he said that, the rotten big hand came towards Lu Yu. Instantly, Lu Yu felt cold all over. There was an almost dead air on the rotten big hand. Weird existence. Lu Yu was shocked. He tried to escape, but everything around him was frozen. Just like the old man's finger at the beginning, freeze the space. If I die here, I'm afraid no one will find me. Just when Lu Yu felt he was going to die, the rotten big hand stopped in mid-air. Invisible threads intertwined with his hand, making it unable to move forward. Black blood was dripping, corroding the void into a big hole. And roars were heard from the cracks. Impossible. You are not a creature in this universe. Who are you? Anyone who dares to step into the forbidden area will be regarded as a threat and die. The big hand tried to break free from the invisible bondage. But the final result was that the rotten flesh fell off, revealing the horrible white bones. Even so, it was still impossible to advance an inch. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yun Zhonmu Shui. Chapter 640. Break this damn cause and effect for me. Behind the crack, a shocking breath bloomed. At the moment this breath was released, the space of the entire universe was fluctuating. Countless planets exploded, and large galaxies evaporated. Outside the Great Wall, a giant hand spanned billions of light years and was about to enter the inner gate. Countless people saw this terrifying scene. And at this moment, a skinny hand stopped it. It's not time yet, you are anxious. Dare to stop us, aren't you afraid of death? A terrifying figure appeared at the other end of the Great Wall. And on the top of the Great Wall, a smiling old man appeared at some point. Why do you act like you are so generous? The old man is going to die too. You will regret it. The giant hand retreated again, and the old man disappeared. And inside the Great Wall, the general domain masters of countless super-galaxy clusters looked at the scene with shock. The man in front of them looked back at the Great Wall. Something has happened. On this day, the universe inside the Great Wall was not peaceful. Multiple galaxies were wiped out by inexplicable forces and turned into dust. There are rumors that an unimaginable war broke out outside the Great Wall. But no one has come forward to prove this. The only credible statement is, there seems to be some contradictions among the superclusters, and some bigwigs have already fought each other. And Lu Yu was completely unaware of all this. Because the old man appeared at some point. Good, kid, you've entered the Forbidden Realm so quickly. The old man looked at Lu Yu in surprise. Lu Yu was also confused. Old man, what does the Forbidden Realm mean? Ha ha ha, I can't explain this to you for the time being. Come with me, I'll take you to see my true self. You need to stabilize your realm, otherwise you can't stay here forever. After the old man finished speaking, Lu Yu's realm really fell to the last stage of the Star Master. The feeling of everything being clear disappeared, leaving Lu Yu feeling inexplicably empty inside. Without thinking too much, he followed the old man into the void. An hour later, looking at the familiar rural scenery around him, Lu Yu rushed to the hut. The old man was sitting in front of the hut, drinking tea leisurely. Boy, you're here again. The old man smiled. But Lu Yu could clearly sense that his aura was not stable. Old man, did you just fight? You kid, don't talk nonsense. Because you stepped into the forbidden area, the old man took a lot of effort to stop you. The old man cursed. Hearing this, Lu Yu's expression became more hesitant. What does the forbidden area mean? You can understand it as the realm limit of the Star-Lord level. Lu Yu was even more confused. Star-Lord level, there is still a realm limit. What else do you think? You already know the truth of this universe, don't you understand it? Lu Yu's words were stuck at the corner of his mouth. He suddenly understood, his eyes were horrified. They did it on purpose. You are talking nonsense to me again. Everything is within their rules. How could they let you break the rules? But congratulations to you, kid, for breaking the rules once. The old man had a happy expression on his face. If this trend continues, I think you can at least leave a complete body when you die. Lu Yu. He was silent for a while and looked at the old man. But I have fallen to the last level of Star-Lord now. This so-called forbidden area seems to be impossible to stay in permanently. Humph, I asked you to come here to help you stay in this realm. As he said, the old man stretched out his hand. Give it to me. What? You little brat, what do you want? Oh. Lu Yu reacted quickly and took out a bottle of golden blood. The old man took it and took a look, and was amazed. The blood of the heyday is not simple. Just this bottle can exert 1/10 of his strength. Lu Yu. Wow. Then I just refined a drop, isn't that a loss? The old man glanced at Lu Yu and said lightly. Why are you sad? Helping you stay in the forbidden area is the real purpose of this bottle of blood. It may be a little painful next, are you sure you can bear it? It's okay, come on, Lu Yu gritted his teeth and said. The old man didn't waste any words and waved his hand. The next moment, the original small bottle of golden blood was instantly diluted into a large bucket. Take off your clothes and soak in it, the old man said. Lu Yu was a little embarrassed. How about you step aside? I saw it last time, why are you being polite to me? Okay. Lu Yu had no choice but to nod and then took off his clothes. I saw that the old man's eyes slowly widened. Why are you growing again? No way, secondary growth. Secondary growth, you're too long, I'll cut it a little shorter for you. No. Chapter 0485 Completely Stable, Above the Ultimate. Lu Yu was thrown directly into the barrel after playing with the old man. Instantly, Lu Yu howled. Damn, it hurts. It's definitely not that Lu Yu's endurance is too poor. In fact, Lu Yu had used all kinds of strange things along the way. He had walked through the gates of hell 4 or 5 times. But this time, he was really shocked by the pain. Even though the golden blood was diluted, when he entered it, it was like a mortal body falling into magma, and it was extremely painful. His whole body seemed to be cooked, and Lu Yu could even smell the fragrance of his own flesh. Old man, are you sure you don't want to cook me and eat me?